Hello guys, this video is for you in as far as you're a political homo sapiens. It is specifically for all kind of students and majorly for everybody. I developed this video for you to know what your brain or your memory is all about, how you can easily access your brain, how you can develop your brain. Let's go there. Now we must first of all know that memory is not a magic, but what? A system. Memory is a system, not a magic. And the good news is that memory can be trained, improved to be generous. Are you getting it? Before we learn to build our memory, we must first understand how and why we forget things. Every day, our brain receives all sorts of informations, thousands of words, images, sound, messages, and different thoughts. Among all of these, it remembers what seems important and forgets what feels boring or confusing. It is not laziness or dullness. It is called filtering. If you like it, you use a scientific word, you say it is called selective reabsorption. And that is the way God has created, develop, or organize our brain. In this video, I'm going to expose how how great minds never forget, and also how you can learn faster and still remember for a longer period of time. I have read so many books on this, books like The Art of Memory by Francis A. Yates. According to this book, ancient scholars, trained memory systematically, and imagination and spatial organization greatly improves recalling. Anytime you want to recall, are you getting me now? You find that you recall easily without, you know, any stress. And symbols and imagery help to fix ideas deeply in memory. That is according to this book. According to the other book, I think the memory book, there's another book called Memory Book by Henry Laring and Jerry Lucas. According to this author, he said association is the secret of memory. Like, when you are trying to read something new, study something new, you try to, connect it, associate it with a past experience or knowledge you've had before. Repetition is not enough. According to this author, he said repetition, is not enough without meaningful linking or connection. Then another book I read, Moonwalking and Einstein. Moonwalking, I think, with Einstein by Joshua Foer. This book, according to this book, he said, memory is mostly a skill, not a gift. The brain remembers images, stories, and emotions better than abstract fact. I read other books like How We Learn by Benedict Carey, A Mind for Numbers by Barbara Oakley, Make It Stick by Peter Brown Henry, and other books. All these authors agrees on the core principles and laws of memory, which I systematically, you know, arrange and itemized in this video for you to digest. Number one is attention. When you study, you're listening to a lecturer or you're studying on your own, number one most important thing you need is attention. Two, understanding. Three, you have to create interest, make it emotional. Four, timely revision. You have to be revising, and you have to time it. Okay. Five, consistency. Six, recalling, proper recalling. Seven, the last but not least, which is what? Sleep. Sleeping, resting. So attention. Let's go by attention. Attention. Attention is the basic foundation and the only doorstep to memory. Broken attention leads to broken memory. When attention is weak, memory will also be weak. And strong memory, is built by having one focus on one task at one moment with one clear mind. If we focus on one thing, the brain says this is important and it remembers. One common mistake we make is that we multitask our brain. The same time we are trying to commit something to our brain, like we trying to read some concept. The same time we check phone. The same time we listen to the sound of what is happening around us. The same time we think about replies. The same time we watch videos on our phones and the rest, which leads to what? Breaking our attention into pieces. So we need full focus. The next thing in my item is understanding. Try to understand rather than memorizing, and also try to connect new knowledge to existing ones. You do this by creating questions which you try to answer along the line. This helps waken the brain. Now, if you are trying to understand any of the concept, what you do is try to create questions. For example, now, okay, the common example, like a noun is a name of person, a name of place of things, then the example, types of nouns, something like that. The first question that should come to your mind is that is if any names called now, for example, my name, Abdul, okay, is called now. Then if you are listening to a lecturer or you're listening to a student, you ask, is any name, if the lecturer say yes or the teacher say yes, that means you've answered the question you created, which helps you to understand the concept you are listening to or you are studying. That is another thing, is you have to create interest. Make it interesting. Make what you are studying or learning interesting. The important point here is that to note why studying, the important thing to note while studying or cramming is to escape boring. Are you getting it now? Just make it fun. The fact is that when we are stressed, the mind becomes noisy, thereby hindering what? New knowledge. That is why early morning is required. The more the senses, the stronger and faster the memory. While your senses are involved, the stronger the memory and the faster it is. I get it now. So, like for example, you are reading aloud. The same time you are looking at it, you are visualizing, right? And you're also writing. Let me break it down a bit here. You read. This is defined as this, and this, and this. You are reading it louder. You are walking. More senses are involved. As you read, you close book. You try to write it down what you've read from your memory. Ah, ha, baba. It's not easy. So this you are involving more senses in this. So the more it is, the faster the memory. I get it now. And also make it emotional and fun, or even make it a playway. Don't be serious. You are learning, be joke, like you're trying to create a kind of fun, make it fun. You play, you walk around, you can dance, you shout, you sing with it. You just create fun with it, no matter how stressful it is, you find it fun. So another thing is timely repetition. Very, very important. Revision, sorry. Timely revision. If you stop revising information or any piece of idea, the brain thinks this is not valid anymore, therefore it deletes it. Some concepts or ideas need to be memorized or crammed. There are some things that you try to understand it and create it in your own way. You are just playing. You have to cram it, you have to memorize it. This Something like this requires more revision and should be timely. I.e., for example, morning. For example, now I want to memorize the first 20 elements. I started memorizing it. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, like that. I memorized like 5 this morning. Tomorrow, evening before I sleep today, I still revise it. I revise it. I'm timing myself. Tomorrow morning, before I add another 5, I'll revise it. What I read, what I memorized yesterday morning, I revise it today. I getting it now. So in the evening, that morning, before I add 5, I revise yesterday memorization. Then I add 5. Today evening, I revise what I memorized today morning, not that of yesterday. Then tomorrow morning, I revise, first of all, revise what I memorized a day before yesterday. Then join it with what I memorized yesterday. Then I'll add another 5. So you time yourself. This is timely revision. And at the end of the day, you see that sometimes you leave what you've memorized, the first thing you memorize, you leave it for 3 days, 7 days, and they will be there permanently. I get it now. So you time yourself and so on until it gets to long time memory or even permanent memory if necessary. So there's something that is not necessary. It's not supposed to be in your permanent memory, like just study for you to pass your exam. They're not necessary to be in your what? Long permanent memory, at least long time memory is okay. Then when you are able, how do you know this is in your long time memory now? How do you know? How do you know that what I'm reading now is there? It will not go again. How do you know? It's very, very important. There are ways you know. So how do you know that? When you are able to recall or reveal everything without paying attention or struggling to, that means everything is there. For example, now, you know, let me use the same first 20 element. If you want to say hydrogen, helium, lithium, barium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, you'll be playing, you'll be bringing them out because they are there in your permanent memory. After first 20 element, okay, let's go on the first 30 element from 21 to 30. Scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, like that, like that. This one, I cannot read it the same way I read hydrogen, helium, lithium, without because those ones they are not in the permanent memory. I don't know that I'm getting it now. They're not in permanent memory. So this one you keep revising, revising. So if you are able to read faster without paying attention and not making mistake, that means they are already in your what? Permanent memory. However, if you are studying other books apart from Quran, Quran, if you want to memorize the Quran, you understand, you have to pay more attention, revise more today. Not you time yourself after 3 hours, after 5 hours. Although I will do that, I will explain that in my next video, how to memorize Quran, how to put the Quran in your heart. Mashallah, you'll see that. So now, other book apart from Quran, it led. So though I will explain revision better in that how to memorize Quran. Then another item I have here is consistency. This is where you can improve and develop your memory to genius. Do you know that consistency beats talent? Be patient but consistent. It might be slow, but what? It might be slow but sure. In a nutshell, the more consistent you are in putting all the emotion, in all the mentioned in practice, like all the one I mentioned, the more consistent you are in putting them in practice, very soon you'll be able to push pages of items or idea in your memory within minutes, not even hours nor days. You'll be able to put them within minutes. Permanent memory. The more consistent you are in putting all this mentioned in practice, you'll be able to do that. That is it. Just consistency. Then the next thing I have is what? Recall. This is very important. The most important point to note during timely revision is to mostly try to recall instead of rereading. You want to revise what you've memorized or what you've studied, you just go and open the book or open the text, start, reading. No, you don't reread. You recall. Try close everything. Pay attention. Try to bring it from your memory. That process of you trying to, bring it out, recall, remember, you are developing your brain. You are strengthening your what? Your memory. You are strengthening it. Deep thinking, strengthening memory. That's what you have to know. Then, last but not least, is sleep. You have to sleep. You just have to sleep. Sleep is memory's function. Poor sleep result to weak memory, low focus or attention, and slow learning.